Well, the thing is this. Some people will say that as it stands right now, INEC has already spent the billions to produce these PVCs,
yes,
as it were, and most people have them.
Yes.
So would you say that we should just send that one and, you know, start looking at how to incorporate our details into the NIMC? Some people will say that that is stretching it. When INEC can continue to function, let's not forget that the elections are every 4 years with some staggered elections in between. For instance, now we're expecting Kogi and Bayelsa State. So what is INEC, I mean, how are they supposed to manage this integration process within that period? Is it really feasible what it is you're proposing?
No, I am not proposing that the identity card must be in place in the next 4 years. But what I am proposing is that I am not saying we should discard the voters card now. What I am saying is that there should be political will to make the identity card work. It can be in the next 8 years. It can be in the next 12 years. But if you completely decide you are not interested in doing that, if you are not thinking forward that that should actually be the basis of voting, what are we struggling to be among the first 30 countries, among the first 10 countries in the world? If you're struggling to be that, what do? You do what they are doing. And what are they doing?
And
trying to identify and doing better than them, indeed. So pending the time we conclude that, which I think if we really have the political, we can complete in 2 years. So, but that does not mean now you say you're discarding the voters card. And remember that the two cards can also work to give you what you may see as accurate data. Yes, they can.
Two of them work.
So what I mean, in the interim, if you have a data in INEC, you have a data in NIMC, if it's the same data, it means two of them can work. And that's exactly what is happening in the banking industry. You go to one bank and register and do your bio. Once you finish it, all other banks is there at the CBN, at their database.
Okay, so
you don't need to do it again.
So the banking sector has a unified data system, and you're thinking that can be applied to the nation as a whole?
No, certainly, yes, certainly. I'm saying that if you have this one and have the other, if there are issues, sometimes two of them can easily come up to say, yes, they are not contradicting. If Chukwuma, for instance, has registered with INEC voter in INEC and get my voter's card with my biometrics, and in my national identity, I have also registered with the same biodata. It's the same thing. Once you're bringing it together, it merges. If there are some information I've given that is not here, is also an issue. All I need to do at any time is to update. I'm no longer, resident in this place. I'm resident in the other place tomorrow. When it comes to voting, maybe I don't want to vote in Lagos. I want to vote in Imo or in Anambra.
Should this unification now, because we're looking at INEC, yes, INEC yesterday, INEC today, INEC tomorrow. Should this unification of data be the responsibility of INEC?
No, I said that we should be aiming at voting with our national identity card. And that simply means that it's not INEC that is going to give us that identity card. It simply means that because we already have a body, the NIMC, that should
NIMS be done with its own identity card matter? Would INEC be ready to put it all in and say this is what we're using now? Considering the fact also that Marco talked about the fact that they've printed the cards already. Yes. I mean, some cards are not collected.
Yes.
So would they discard those cards? That's billions down the drain.
Yes.
And switch to the national identity card, or you just have the two?
If that one is more reliable, if, for instance, we get it right, in national identity card, if we get it right and it's more reliable, what does it take to switch over? All you need is to look at the people that are adults. They will simply come, the INEC will have the data. You want to vote, they know. This is where you're going to vote. They will see your name and see that you're a Nigerian.
Is INEC saddled with too much responsibility?
I do not think it's saddled with too much responsibilities. But I also think that there are some of the things that are really a distraction. Continuous registration is a distraction. They plan for that. And when they are planning for continuous registration, when they are particularly most times when they try to see we are starting fresh registration, they concentrate on that one. When they concentrate on that one, it will be difficult for them to concentrate on how the ballot papers will be printed, the security of ballot papers, the conduct of elections, the INEC officials to recruit. These things will be a distraction, especially in Nigeria where one man will want to do everything.
Because remember, the last time when elections were scheduled, while the chairman was talking, they kept on saying, look, we are just an election management body. That suggested that many were looking to them to do perhaps a little much more than they were doing at the time. And so now you have people who are doing the voter registration, they are members of staff or ad hoc who have to do all of those. And then you have people who complain about electoral offenders, and then they look to them to also wade in and do something. But so if it's not clear-cut, won't we always insist that no, it's INEC, INEC, INEC?
It's a system that is not functioning well. It's malfunctioning of the system. Otherwise, why would INEC have to prosecute electoral offenders? Why should they be saddled with that? Why shouldn't you have a proper office of the Attorney General of either the state or the federation to continue with this? But we said because we have a dysfunctional system, it becomes that the government will not have the will, especially when it's in power and it's really manipulated the system. Would it really do that? And we send it back to them. And that is why some people can fast for an independent office of the Attorney General, as distant from that of the Minister of Justice.
You see them carrying that out this dispensation?
No president would want to carry it out.
Why not?
There will be no political will to carry it out. But then, do you really need to do that? That's the first question. Why don't you strengthen that office? Why don't you send the person who is going to be Attorney General, not as among the ministers? This person is going to be appointed Attorney General of the Federation, including Minister of Justice. You send that person to the Senate for confirmation of such person. Why wouldn't you do that?
The person should be named.
Should be named.
Because, I mean, all ministers go to the Senate, but
yes.
You're saying that this person's position must be named.
Yes, because the Constitution also named that position. So why don't you send it as named? So that we can say this person can do it or cannot do it. Questions can come from the Senate to say, how will you perform this one? If this man is appointing, because don't forget the fact that when the president appoints you and then secure that office
from yourself.
Secure the office. No, the way you have secured other offices.
So I'm saying secure that office, like the presidency, securing that office from itself.
Yes, sure.
From its own interference.
Yes, relatively from its own interference.
How can that be done?
No,
without going back to tinker with the Constitution.
No, you don't need to tinker with the Constitution. You can also do it by an act of the National Assembly. There are many bodies set up by the National Assembly in which it tries to give it a bit more security. Security of tenure. When you have security of tenure, you have an Attorney General who can come in and decide to do the right things.
All right, Chukwuma Ezeala, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much.